Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Haft here. I'm at the Iola Car Show and I ran into this Chrysler. It says Chrysler Mexico. This thing was in the rally in 1997, 96, and 95 in the Mexican rally. I mean, it doesn't look like a normal race car, but it's a four-door. And it's got some sponsors on here. And it's an Oldsmobile. It's weird how it says Chrysler Mexico, but it's an Oldsmobile. There's the interior. They got a roll cage in this thing, and it's an awesome vehicle. It's interesting how they have some of the Mexican stickers. Competizione. It's got a chrome bumper and stuff like that. And this here, I'm lucky enough to find the gentleman that owns this, and your name is?
Mark Gosh.
Okay, where are you from, Mark?
From the Marshfield area, Wisconsin.
Okay, could you tell us a little about this amazing car you got here?
Well, I bought it, I think, about 10 years ago from a man named Roger Schmutzer from Wausau. And he purchased it from the original builders, Mike and Ed Gutt. He purchased it from Chicago.
Mike and Ed Gutt. Okay.
And it wasn't running at the time. It had sat for a number of years. He brought it back to his shop and he got it going and brought it here to Iola. And I just happened to see it. He had it for sale. And I went and saw it about 3 or 4 times. And it just couldn't get out of my head. I really liked the look of it.
Yeah, the patina and the history of
it.
it.
The history especially, which I have the history of the races here. At any rate, about 2 weeks later, I told my wife, I said, I can't get this car out of my head. I'm going to call this guy, which I did. Made arrangements, went up there and bought it. And since then, I've done some work to tweak it out as far as running. It runs so good. And last year, my friend and I, we took this car in a camper. We drove all the way to Seattle, went through all the Idaho, Montana mountains.
Drove to Seattle with this car?
Yes, sir.
That's amazing.
Yes, sir. And I got 16.1 miles to the gallon.
Wow.
It's got a ZZ350 engine in it, which is roughly 350, 400 horsepower. I've had it at Road America, riding on that track. I've taken it to drag strips. And I can do 15 seconds at 90 miles an hour, but it doesn't. It's got an open rear end, so it's hard to look up. But it's got a lot of power.
Yeah, that's great, man. To take it all those places and have fun with it, and
I
share it with the people. And
yep, I drive it all over. And in fact, there's a lot of people that come here, and when they talk about where they're going, they'll always mention that car, the 53 Olds that's on the corner here of the slot spaces.
That's amazing.
People that come here and ask me if I want to sell it. So I'm not ready to.
Oh yeah, it's too much fun. I mean, this car is amazing. Yeah,
it's very solid. Sits on a 1979 Buick LeSabre frame, so it's got disc brakes, stabilizers. Rides just like it's on rails.
And you haul your camper with that?
I haul my camper.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
it really is. I love the history of it. You said you got something there, huh?
Oh, this is from Oldsmobile Club of America magazine, and it runs down an interview with Mike and Ed Gutt. And in fact, I've talked to Ed Gutt. He's the father. He had an engineering firm in Chicago, and I got to talk with Ed about the races, and I ended up getting some articles that were in the magazine about their interview. Because this actually did very well in the races.
No kidding.
Yes, it did. Yeah, it was in its class. It was third.
Okay.
Top speed about 138 miles an hour. And,
wow, that's moving for a big car like this.
It is, and it's a rally race, so it's about 1,800 miles, and every day they go to a destination.
Holy Christ, 1,800 miles.
Oh, and here's another fact. These guys built this car in the early 90s, and so they raced it 94, 5, 6, and 7. They were one of 2 teams that drove the car. They drove it from Chicago to southern Mexico, raced the race, and drove back.
Wow.
And they actually had installed cruise control on here, which I got up and running again because it's It's a nice feature to have when you're traveling.
Oh yeah.
Cruise control on a race car.
This story is just amazing. Like you said, drive it from Chicago to Mexico, race at 1,800 miles,
Yeah.
and drive it back.
Drive it back.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Very reliable. They build cars for the La Carrera. If you go on the Google site, they build cars for endurance and speed.
Okay.
And it's an international race. They invite people. It's expensive to get into. Since I've had this car, I've been invited to be co-pilot, but I don't have the money to jump in and try to be a co-pilot for somebody. But
So would you like to go back and race it down there again?
well, I'd love to do it, but like I say, it's very expensive.
Okay. Do you have an email address at all? Or?
I sure do.
We'll tell you what. Why don't we see if this YouTube goes all the way around the world? If somebody wants to sponsor you.
Oh, jeez.
So why don't you give us your email?
Okay, it's Cary, C-A-R-Y, Custom Classics at TDS.net.
Okay.
All right.
And if somebody's out there and wants to sponsor this gentleman, please get a hold of him through his email and stuff like that. It would be fantastic to see this car run again down in Mexico in that rally.
Yep.
Okay. And we want to thank you for your time. We appreciate it. It's a great story.